Welcome to Discourses by Shri Brahmachaitanya Maharaj Gondavalekar. Today we'll explore the February 18th discourse on Repeat Nama with a Pure Heart, where we delve into how the practice of nama-smarana with a pure and selfless heart can lead to spiritual fulfillment and connection with the divine. God is the creator as well as the protector of everything and everybody. He is also the destroyer, and yet he is called just and loving. This is evidently because he is selfless. That means that love arises from selflessness. In our case, our attachment to sense objects and our selfishness obstruct our love for God. Should we then not rid ourselves of these things? Our attachment and love for these must be given up. We ought to surrender ourselves to God and the saints, and should feel the need for nothing else. The same clay may be molded by a potter into a pitcher, a doll, or an idol of Ganapati as demanded by the customer. So does God manifest himself according to the seeker's concept. So our devotion should be pure and selfless. It is to this end that religious rites and practices are devised. Quite often, though, these are observed only in outward form, ignoring their spirit. For instance, take the man who, observing a fast for Ekadashi, instead of doing nama-smarana, spent the day scrubbing the sink and cleaning the courtyard and gutters. How will that purify his heart, as is sought to be done in prescribing the fast? So, in spiritualism, obey the Guru implicitly. Practice nama with complete faith and a selfless heart without harboring doubts and misgivings. Once you realize the sweetness of nama, the Lord will not let you go. We must have the conviction that there is no truth other than nama. The stronger the hold of the body consciousness, the more nama will have to be practiced. There is no sadhana easier to practice than nama. The worldly-minded argue that the experience of the senses is instant and real, while that of the Lord is deferred and of inference, one of belief. I can understand their viewpoint, and I am not surprised that they do not quit worldly life. What I am sorry to see is that they consider this happiness as everlasting. I ask you to believe only your own experience. When you realize that hankering after sense pleasures does not yield happiness, then you will come to see the sweetness of nama. You have no control over the body, nor over money, nor over the persons you call yours. So in your life, acquit yourself thoroughly of your duty and go about with a worry-free heart. Mirabai's life was filled with devotion to Lord Krishna, and her unwavering faith often brought her into conflict with her royal family, who did not approve of her spiritual pursuits. One of the most significant events in her life that highlights her pure-hearted devotion occurred when her family, in an attempt to deter her devotion, plotted to poison her. Mirabai's husband, the Rana of Mewar, had passed away, and she faced increasing hostility from her in-laws. They disapproved of her devotion to Lord Krishna and her disregard for royal customs. To put an end to her practices, they devised a plan to poison her. Personal reflection. One day, Mirabai's in-laws sent her a cup of poison, disguised as nectar, with the intention of ending her life. Mirabai, unaware of the plot, accepted the cup with unwavering faith in Lord Krishna. Before drinking, she offered the cup to Krishna and chanted his name with deep feeling and devotion. Govinda, Govinda! With complete trust in Krishna's protection, she drank the poison while repeating his divine name. Miraculously, the poison had no effect on her, and she remained unharmed. The divine intervention of Lord Krishna not only saved her life, but also reinforced her faith in the power of nama-smarana. This event illustrates that by chanting nama with a pure heart and unwavering faith, Mirabai invoked the divine presence and protection of Lord Krishna. Her sincere and selfless devotion transcended all barriers, leading to divine grace and spiritual fulfillment. This story demonstrates the power of nama-smarana with a pure heart. It shows that chanting the divine name with sincerity and devotion can invoke divine presence and protection, leading to spiritual fulfillment and liberation. Nama transcends all barriers and brings us closer to the divine, guiding us towards true spiritual bliss and freedom from worldly attachments. Therefore, let us embrace nama-smarana with a pure and selfless heart, knowing that the divine presence is always with those who chant nama with sincerity and devotion. Just as Mirabai experienced divine grace and protection through her devotion to nama, we too can find peace, contentment, and divine connection through the persistent practice of chanting the divine name. Let us embrace nama-smarana with a pure and devoted heart, knowing that the divine presence is always with those who chant nama with sincerity and devotion. Just as Mirabai experienced divine grace and protection through her devoted chanting of nama, we too can find peace, contentment, and divine connection through the persistent practice of chanting the divine name. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of repeat nama with a pure heart. Remember, by persistently chanting nama with a pure and selfless heart, we can transcend worldly attachments and experience true spiritual bliss. Embrace this practice with unwavering dedication, and may it bring you peace and fulfillment in your journey.